Like I said, I got off the plane. My niece asked me about it. We rode around her little one block in her where she lives at. And there was a dumpster outside. We stopped and I said, let me go knock on the door. And it's funny how people get fear. Fear really will shake you up. And she said, are you going to knock on the door now? And I said, well, there's 2 cars in the yard. Do you think we ought to knock on the door today or wait to maybe Monday or Tuesday when nobody's here? It was a Sunday afternoon, knocked on the door. Just so happened the folks knew my wife had been a school teacher locally. We made her offer on the house. They accepted it. We found a buyer. And that one, we picked a check up for that particular house. The largest one we'd ever done was $47,000. And we didn't have a penny in it.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Investor Fuel podcast. I'm your host, Michelle Kesil, and today I'm joined by someone that I'm looking forward to chatting with, Chris Padgett, who's been making serious moves in the investing space, doing flips, consignments, and some commercial. So excited to have you here today, Chris.
Michelle, thank y'all for inviting us. We're glad to join you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think our listeners are going to take something away from how you're handling creating all of these investments and your strategies. So let's dive in.
Well, I guess we could start from our first one we did approximately 5 years ago. It was really pretty amazing. We kind of knew that or looked at real estate as an option of making additional income. Years ago, I took a course from a guy named Carlton Sheets, but you wouldn't remember that, Michelle, because you wasn't around then. But there's some of the older guys would remember that. Cassette tapes and all that sort of stuff. I was interested in it, but never really had the guts to take a dive into it. But when I moved back to the hometown I was born in, I had a friend of mine walk into my office one day, and he'd been trying to help some veterans. They had a home. It wasn't working out well. The neighbors didn't want the veterans there. It's kind of like a little recovery house. And the guy had to make the veterans move out, and he had asked me, was telling me the story, and I said, well, do you think the guy would want to sell it? And he says, sure. And so he gave us an idea of what he wanted back then. It was the same house now is going for about $130. He said the guy wanted $20,000 for it. I said, okay, well, let me go look at it. Went over and looked at it, and we got an offer in at $15. I called a friend of mine that does rentals, and I'd met him through a business group. But like I said, I wasn't in investment in insurance and real estate business at all then. Actually, I was a shelter manager for a homeless shelter. That's where this guy was at. But I had a business background. I did financial planning years ago. And so I called Dave, my buddy, and I made an offer on it. And he went over and looked at it, and he said, yeah, I'll pay you 25 something. And I go, okay, we'll take it. And he said, I'll take care of the closing. So he set us up for the real estate, at the real estate office, attorney's office. And he said, we're going to close 2 weeks. So I had a consignment on the property. And they told me I was going to make $13,000. And I thought, if those guys write me a check for $13,000 and I'd put about 5 hours of work, I don't even believe it. I told my wife, who's a school teacher, about it, and she said, that's going to be wild. Well, Sure enough, we went over there to closing. The owner was there, I was there, and all we did is a single page consignment contract, and they slid us a check across the table for $13,000. And I walked out my truck and sat down, and a tear came to my eye. And I thought, how have I missed this? That I'm 60 years old. And so that was our first deal that we did about 5 years ago, and then we made 13 grand on it.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
Amazing. That is so exciting. And what a great way to get into the industry with that feeling that this is possible.
That's right. And we only put $500 down, so people that I know when I first heard about this industry, I thought you had to have money or know folks that had money or have a relationship with a bank. And I guess you can do that, but really you can do some of the things that we're doing, and I'm sure some of you other investors are doing in the real estate market in that space with very little or no money at all.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe you can expand on that. Like what some of those strategies without so much money look like.
Well, the most we on a flip or a consignment. Now in South Carolina, the law has changed a little bit on the consignment market, so we had to adjust to that. Instead of using assignment contracts, we now use investor relations specialists. Means that if give you an example, we just did one. I was down in Dallas helping my son work on a house. We flew back in, or I flew back in, and my niece picked us up from the airport, and they knew we had been doing some flips and consignments and things like that. And she said, "Chris, how are you doing this?" And I said, "Well, on a very low key method. We'll take a ride on a Sunday afternoon. We'll see a property that's got some growed up trees and shrubs and maybe a little bit too much mail in their mailbox. We've got an app. I'm not advertising for anybody. We happen to just use PropStream and LandGlide, and we pull that up, and we find out, and it gives us a little bit of data, and then we can reach out to those guys by mail, or sometimes even if we cross it over to white pages, and we may even get a phone number, which is fairly easy. And I use the same script every single time, and now I've got an office manager. She uses the same script every time. We just say, "Hey, Michelle, we saw your property. We have some family and friends that are looking for something in that area. Have you ever thought about doing anything with it?" And we hush. And that's all we ever use. We use that on our mailers that we send out now. One of the software data packages we use is PropStream. You can create your own little mailer and they send it out automatically for you and that sort of thing. But that's how we started, real low key, no budget, no marketing, just riding around on Sunday afternoons. And the first 3 years we had flipped 11 houses, and I think we'd put in our pocket right at just above 280 or 290 on those houses. Made $10,000 on some, made like I said, $13,000 to $20,000 on other ones. The latest one we just did, like I said, I got off the plane. My niece asked me about it. We rode around her one block in her where she lives at, and there was a dumpster outside. We stopped and I said, let me go knock on the door. And it's funny how people get fear. Fear really will shake you up. And she said, "Are you going to knock on the door now?" And I said, "Well, there's 2 cars in the yard. Do you think we ought to knock on the door today or wait to maybe Monday or Tuesday when nobody's here?" It was a Sunday afternoon, knocked on the door. It just so happened the folks knew my wife had been a school teacher locally. We made her offer on the house. They accepted it. We found a buyer. And that one, we picked a check up for that particular house. The largest one we'd ever done was $47,000. And we didn't have a penny in it.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
Amazing. Wow, that sounds like such a creative solution that you guys came up with.
Yeah, and the neat thing about it, the sellers love it because we asked them, what are they wanting out of their property? They said 220. I had a young guy. He was a retired guy in the military from medical leave, and so he had a pretty good income with 4 kids, needed a place to go, and never could find him a 4 or 5 bedroom, and this one happened to have that. He was already pre-approved, and he'd been kind of calling me a lot because he had ADHD, so he called me a lot checking on his property. And so he had a pre-approval. We did that. And I think the only thing we paid for was a termite inspection for him. But what we do, we add everything back into the cost. So the buyer and the seller, everything comes out of my profit pool. So I kind of back that in as when I do a offer to a buyer, and that particular one just worked out real well. He had a good approval. It was approved at 290, and we did it at 285. We paid all the closing costs, all the taxes, everything, and still walked away with $47,000. And that's unusual, but when you're out there, some of those things do happen.
Absolutely. So, what are you most focused on right now when it comes to your business?
Well, I'll tell you a funny story. Me and my son-in-law is a school teacher, and we accidentally stumbled into the commercial market about 2 years ago now. We went down with a bunch of kids, and they did a day camp, and we were down there with them at this little small community and met the mayor, and it was kind of a distressed area, and they were needing more affordable housing. And I knew a little bit about that because over the years I started reading about it. And we got down there, and Habitat for Humanity had a property that never did anything with, so the city had it again. So the city sold us the property. And they said, look, we'll sell you the property at a discount rate if y'all bring affordable housing in there. So the most affordable that we could come up with was mobile homes. And so we, over the next 6 months, picked up 9 mobile homes, went in, really did a good job on them, remodeling them and putting all deck and panel flooring in there, put a nice circle driveway into the property, landscaped it, put cameras on the property. Now we went to the bank on this because I didn't realize this, but if you got anything in South Carolina over 5 doors, that means 5 units at one time, they treat that as a business. They don't treat it like a residential property where you got to put your money up and put the money in and get it out on the other side when you sell it. By that time, we had accumulated a little bit of money. And so we went in and did a loan on the property, and we got approved for it because of the cash flow that was showing out of we're going to have an end of it. So they treat it more like a business transaction they do like buying a.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
A residential piece of property and trying to flip it and resell it, because all that's on you, on your name. Even though if you're a business, they want to see your income, debt ratio, and all that stuff. And so we got 9 units there. We're averaging about $4,800 a month coming out of that property. And what was neat about it, we got about $380 in it. We wind up putting in about $50 up front, the 25% that the bank wanted us to do. And they gave us a floating line of credit to get it finished up with. As we submitted invoices, they gave us the money. And now that evaluation on that property is about $800,000. And that sounds really great. It's a great property, but we would have never done it if we wouldn't have did that first little crazy house that the veterans lived in, because I wouldn't have had the confidence to go do that. And I learned, and it was funny, we went to I'm not going to say who it was, but we went to a real estate training deal for 3 days. And And the guy said, are y'all doing anything now? And we said, yeah. And we talked about the mobile home property. And they said, oh, you're already in the commercial market. And I go, oh, we really are? We didn't even know we were in the commercial market until they told us that. And that was kind of comical because they said, oh, you're already a commercial real estate investor. I just thought, well, we had a mobile home park. That's what we're looking at more now because those, especially in our area in South Carolina, there's a lot of folks moving here. We're close to Greenville, South Carolina, which is very popular. We're close to the mountains, but there's still a need for affordable housing. And even in the administration now, that's in Washington, they see the need for affordable housing, and they're kind of opening up some more doors on that side of it too.
Amazing. That sounds like such a cool project and things that you're working on right now. So let me ask you this. What are you focused on solving or scaling next? Like, what are those other goals that you have?
Well, I think one of the neighborhood I live in Greenwood, South Carolina, lean hit us pretty hard, especially our neighborhood. We were the hardest hit neighborhood in the Greenwood County area, and it's called Bellmead. And some of the folks that own the houses, I just left Augusta, Georgia an hour ago, and they got hit real hard too. And you still see houses almost a year later with tarps on them. People may be living there. Some of them are unoccupied because they're not livable. And so we thought, well, let's look at some of those. Maybe we can help the owners get out from under it if they've got a mortgage, and do that. And so in our neighborhood, we have about 80 houses here. So me and my wife just rode around and said, well, nobody's repaired that one yet. Nobody repaired that one yet. Thank God, the only thing that happened in our house, back in our backyard, one of the big trees fell and just got our fence. And so in our neighborhood, we've found 4 houses that had not been repaired. Did the same thing, went prop stream, found the owners, reached out to them. We closed on one last week that the folks had already got a portion of the insurance money, but still had a small mortgage on it, but just never followed it through. They just couldn't work with the contractors and got sideways. So they just took their money and moved somewhere else. And so the house was here, so we picked it up. And same thing, I didn't have the time to flip it or to be involved in the flip. And I called one of my buddies, and they picked it up from us, and we cleared about, I think, $9,000 on that one. So we're kind of looking at that. It was really a tragedy here, and we only lost one life in Greenwood County. But the more we started looking, there's a thing in our brain called a reciprocal indicator, and that's one of those things when you buy a car, a red Kia, and you think this is the only one in Greenwood, and you ride around for 10 minutes and you see 4 of them. Well, they were there before, you just never noticed them, and then we started noticing these houses all over the place with tarps still on them and a tree on the backside of the property. And we're picking those up for really a discount price because several of the owners are just not moving back into them, but they still have a mortgage on them. So we can just pay the mortgage off. They'll make a little bit of money, and then we can go in and do a flip on it. And that's just for our area.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. It sounds like you've figured out your way through this world. And yeah, I love that. So let me ask you this. When it comes to growing your business and building your network, what things have made the biggest difference for you?
Well, I think one of the biggest things is you just have to get rid of the fear, because I think all of us don't, and none of us know how to do it all real well. It's just getting out there. There's nothing you can really do wrong. Nobody's gonna shoot you or throw a rock at your car for stopping by and asking if they're gonna maybe do something with the property. But what I think on the network side is I'm in Rotary, and actually our banker helped us with the mobile home project. Like I said, we just stumbled into that. We had no clue what we were doing. We knew it could be done. And I remember standing on that acre property that would hold 9 mobile homes going, what have we got into? Dealing with the city and all that. But you just learn. And the other thing is there are real estate groups all over the internet like y'all guys, and there's folks out there that folks don't realize it, especially on a 1031 exchange. And I didn't even know what that meant when I started. So folks have money that they want to get rid of and have to get rid of, especially if they've sold a piece of property that year. and they're looking for people to give that money to buy property. Because if they don't put that investment back in another piece of property, they're going to have to pay taxes on that income that year. And so it's free money sitting out there. And if you find a property and you go to one of these guys, and you can find them at real estate companies, you can find individual investors, you can find them on Facebook. There's a lot of them out there. But one thing that I thought, everybody's doing this, so there's not going to be any deal. Well, not everybody's doing this. And so when you get on those sites, you meet some really neat people out there, really solid folks that are wanting to do business and wanting to help each other succeed at it. When you get 3 or 4 partners like that, it just gives more credibility. Now, when I call somebody, I say, well, me and my partner, we're glad to come out and look at it. And it may just be a guy that I know that's got 80 rental houses. That's a good rental house. He don't want to flip it. He wants to fix it, put it back out for, income. And then we'll make, 8 or 10 grand on it for just turning them on to the kind of like a little finder's fee. We call it consignment.
Amazing. Yeah, that's such a good strategy. And yeah, it's helping you create those new relationships. So that's very valuable. Awesome. So
Yeah.
before we wrap up here, if someone wants to reach out, connect, learn more from you, where can they find you?
Okay, we do have a website. We finally, my daughter was down here helping me with it this weekend, and it's called the Hub Group, and our website is thehubg.us, and our phone number is 864-863-1482. Yeah. And one thing I like to tell y'all, we've got this. It's got to be so simple. If we can do, if you can do addition, subtraction, and multiplication and division, and you don't mind riding around, like I've got my granddaughter. She's a senior in high school, and she sent me 2 properties this week because I told her what to look for. I got a little reciprocal indicator working. And so she sent us the addresses. We went by and looked at them. We did a search on them, got the owners' names, and we're supposed to go meet with them next Tuesday. And she's 17 years old. The deal we just did on that one I said was our biggest one, our niece made 10 grand. So what we do is our folks that are our kind of like our bird dogs will go out and look. The first deal they find, I said, hey, you go find it. We'll put the deal together and I'll do a 30-70 split. We get 70, you get 30. If you bring us 2 deals, we'll do 50-50. And then you bring the third deal, if you get 70, we get 30. And so I tell you, when you hand somebody a $10,000 check and she's a single mom and teaches school, she gets real motivated to go look for more houses. Because when we handed her that check, she cried. And it's all about relationships and working with other people and just trying to help out the best you can.
Yeah, I love that you're helping people. That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate your time, your story, and your perspective. So yeah, thank you for being here.
Michelle, thank y'all for having us on. We really enjoyed it.
Awesome. And for those listeners that are tuning in, if you got value from this, make sure you've subscribed. We have more conversations with operators just like Chris who are building real businesses, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.